Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Huddle, the Review.com's weekly high school sports show. I'm Rob Toter, joined as always by Mike Brown, and it's playoff edition week one. The Marlington Dukes and the St. Thomas Aquinas Knights are in the postseason, and it all begins, Mike, Friday night at Serpilla Stadium, where the Knights play host to the Lisbon Blue Devils.
Yeah, and I think we've known this for a long time, that St. Tom and Marlington were going to make the playoffs, Rob. And they have. They've just been a picture of consistency all year. Marlington goes into playoffs 10-0. St. Tom goes in 8-2. They both played a pretty good schedule, especially independent schedule for Marlington. Marlington plays some really good independent teams. So I think they're battle-tested and ready to go here.
Okay, one thing about the Dukes that I noticed, they are 7-0 this year against teams that were 500 or better. So that bodes well. Anytime you can beat teams that have winning records, that seems to be an indicator.
Sure does.
Let's start with the Dukes. They play host to Akron East, the Dragons, at 7 p.m. on Saturday night.
Right.
Akron East, a playoff tested team, even though they're from the Akron City Series. They've been in the playoffs several times. And they bring some size and speed to that game.
They sure do, Robin. What we understand, they like to line it up and come right at you. They have a 2,000-yard running back. They're not a typical Akron City Series team where you usually expect a wide-open offense. These guys like to tee it up, come at you with their size and this good back and try and tilt the field, gain control. And that'll be an interesting matchup for Marlington. I feel good about Marlington's chances, but East, from what I understand, is a very good football team.
What's the key for the Dukes? Just keep doing what you've been doing?
Absolutely. I think, Marlington has that great balance. They've got a 2,000-yard quarterback in Chris Pennell. They've got a 1,400-yard running back in Jacques Sampson. They've got a good defense, and I think that might be the determining factor here. I think, East can run the ball. East doesn't throw much. They've only thrown for 500 yards this year, Rob. So you know what they're going to do. And I think if Marlington crowds the line of scrimmage, which they're probably going to do, I think the Dukes have a good shot to shut down that running game and win this game.
How's that region looking? We know Akron-Hoban's sitting there, possibly in the regional final, and Akron-St. Vincent, St. Mary.
And Dover's in there. I mean, that's a good region. That is a very good region. If I wouldn't be at all surprised in a few weeks if it doesn't come down to Hoban and Marlington, but that's why they play the games. But if I had to handicap it going in, I would think it's probably going to be Hoban and Marlington playing for a regional title in a few weeks. But first, you got to get by these first couple weeks to get to that point.
Yeah, sometimes when you're 10-0, in my experience, that first week's a little bit tougher because even though you're facing a team that doesn't have the record, they're coming in, they know they have nothing to lose.
That's right. And sometimes that can fool you. Exactly what you're talking about, Rob. You say, well, we're 10-0, and they were the AC, they just squeaked in. Anybody can beat, and when you get in the playoffs, anybody can beat anybody else on a given night, in probably 90% of the cases. So you got to be ready every time you take the field.
Okay, let's turn our attention to St. Thomas and Lisbon. A battle of prior state champions, St. Thomas in 1984.
I covered that game.
And Lisbon in 1995.
Yeah.
So the Blue Devils fell a little bit on hard times since that championship team, but Jim Salimos is their head coach, and he was the head coach in that 95 team. That guy can coach. He's a graduate of Warren Harding. He's going to bring in a Lisbon team that's 9-1.
Right.
Again, what do you know about those guys?
Yeah, they are very multiple on offense. They run the stack, the triple option, and the spread. So you have to be prepared for a little bit of everything with them. St. Tom's probably seen some teams that have done variations of that through the year, but I'm not sure they've seen a team that does all three things in the same game. But I think, like we were talking for Marlington, Rob, I think for St. Tom, more than the opponent, I think just do what you've been doing all year. St. Tom's played a fantastic schedule that's prepared them for this point. And I think they just need to go out and do what they do best. They've got Jared Palak, who's thrown for over 1,000 yards this year. They've got Nathan Rich, who's rushed, I believe, for under 1,400 yards this year. So they've got good balance. And like Marlington, a good defense, too. So, I think St. Tom takes care of business. They should win Friday night.
Yeah, any concern for you with the Knights coming off a loss in Week 10?
No, I think, that's something where they went for the 2 last week. They went for the win. They probably could have played it safe and kicked the extra point and gone to another session of overtime. They went for the win, didn't work out. But, Warren JFK is a quality football team. They were ranked number 1 in the state 3 weeks ago and then dropped down. After winning a game, they dropped. But St. Thomas played the good schedule, and like I said, I think that's prepared them for this point.
Okay. Well, make sure you check out the review and the review.com for preview of both of those games. We'll have coverage, obviously, all weekend long and video highlights as well. So for Mike, this is Rob. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next week about week 2.